Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Richardson from All That Remains, and he just played the opening note, I guess you'd call that, to Divine.
First couple seconds, yeah.
Which is the first song that's come out since Ollie's sad departure.
Yep.
And it's out there, and I'm going to ask this man a few questions because you're one of these guys, and I don't mean to be obsequious, but you make me rethink, am I really a guitar player? Because I watch you play, and I get tendonitis just watching you.
Yeah, I've had it a few times, so.
Haven't you got a song called Tendonitis on? You do, on one of your songs. Is that based on experience?
Jared Dines actually came up with the name for that song. We were on tour and it wasn't out yet, and then I came back on the bus and he was hanging out with Luke, and they were just like, yo, what if we call the new song Tendonitis? Because there's no words or anything, so I was like, actually, that's pretty funny.
That is funny.
Screw it, let's just name the song that, so.
So I want to pick your brain. If I had to describe you, I'd use 4 words that begin with A. You're articulate, you're very aggressive, you don't pick lightly, you pick like you want to kill the guitar, which is, I always love to see. Your playing's very athletic as well, like it really is.
Yeah, it's constant maintenance.
What does it take just to maintain where you're at?
You have to play every single day, be it, even maybe just like 15 minutes, or on this tour with Megadeth that All That Remains is out around, like we only have a half-hour set. So be it even just like, 10 to 20 minutes warm-up, 30-minute set, even if that's all I'm playing every single day, that's still enough to at least like keep the technique at a comfortable level. My solo stuff is a little bit different because it's much harder to play. Not that All That Remains is easy by any means at all. For instance, when I was on tour last year with my solo project, opening for Baby Metal and Death Clock, I was playing my solo stuff, so I would have to make sure I would warm up at least like 30-ish plus minutes. I don't want to overdo it too, because you can over warm up, and then when it comes time to play your set, you're already like fatigued and just gassed. It just makes everything that much harder. Yeah, let's let you've peaked. I was talking to Phil Collini from Def Leppard about that, and he said the same exact thing. If you over warm up, you leave the best of you in the dressing room. Yep, exactly. Yeah, so there's a fine line to balance between, especially with my solo stuff when I'm on tour with that, between like making sure like I'm loose and like my set's not going to be like halfway through it in my arms, it's just cramping up and I can't like finish a song comfortably. Every player is different, but there is a thing where you just over warm up, and then when you come out to play the set, you're already just completely shot because you've been playing for an hour or two or something like that. The thing that impresses me, lots of things impress me about your playing, is the fact that you do a lot of wide stretch stuff, you do a lot of string skipping stuff, and you also do a lot of sliding stuff that you're making full use of the neck. Like you're a very, what I call a horizontal player. You're not just up and down, you're left to right constantly. And, the opening riffs of Divine kind of prove that. What tips would you have on someone who watches Divine and goes, well, I've got no chance of playing that at that speed? What would be your guidance to like how to get better at getting accurately moving from the first fret all the way to the 17th and back down again, or all the way back to the 12th without missing a skip? So one thing that I did practice intentionally for a while, now it's just kind of second nature. It's just part of my, just how I play guitar. If you're already like right here, like once you've been playing for long enough, you kind of just get used to like where things are without having to look. But in order to prepare to like jump up here, like you're familiar down here, so before you got to jump, like preemptively look like a second beforehand. And then like say if you have to go back down, you're up here, you know where everything is, and then you can look and be like, okay, so you don't like overshoot, essentially coming up and down the neck. I remember there was even one moment too, like at one of the Petrucci camps that I've taught at, like JP even pointed that out to me. He was like, I was watching you play and I noticed like every time before you go up here, all the way up here, you look like a second beforehand. Before your hand jumps all the way up like an octave or so. So it's kind of like, if that makes sense. Like,
no, it makes, what's funny is I had the good fortune, the honor of working with Dimebag Darrell on his column, and he does some ridiculous stuff. And I asked him once, how could you go from 1 to 13, back to 1, back to 13 so accurately? He goes, I look where I'm going before I go there. Same as what you've just said. Nice. So it's almost like driving a car. If you're going to turn left, you kind of look at where you're going to turn.
Yeah, you're not like,
and that's kind of what happens if you slide. If you slide, then look, the chances of like undershooting or overshooting are incredibly high. One good thing to practice too, which is that exact opposite of that, is like once you kind of get like familiar with it, like if you try closing your eyes and just see like what happens, because there is some muscle memory for it as well. Like once you do it enough, you know, just like, all right, I have to just like immediately just like 5 to 8 and then like an octave up. You see that? It's obvious. I'm going kind of quick, obviously, but
it's just like still on the same frets, just an octave up, like that fast. So
that was impressive, actually.
So sometimes, like, you know, just you're not going to get it every time. Even I wouldn't. Even if I was, nope. Oh, that was close.
That was pretty damn close.
Yeah, so
eyes closed, folks, and there were no retakes on this. This is a one-take lesson. So, what about string skipping? Because you're also quite annoyingly adept at that. How did you? Why the two A words?
Yeah.
How did you get so proficient? Were there any people who I know Paul Gilbert's one of the guys that got me into that. Are there any influences that inspired you? Or?
Oh yeah, Petrucci. He's always is always going to be my number one. There's definitely some Dream Theater parts where lots of octave stuff, like all right in a row, that he likes to do a lot, which I kind of got inspired and ideas from that. And then also just kind of like more etude exercises too. I can't remember who I learned this one from. Might have been my old teacher, Matt Mills. But there was also, like, it's just kind of like an etude exercise where it's like just stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Just to work on getting from, you know, the big, huge gaps. Also, not anchoring at all helps quite a lot.
Oh, so I was watching you. You're floating, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, it's just, if you think about it, it's just something to push back against your hand.
Gotcha.
From, you know, being able to go from like the lowest string to the highest string. If you're anchoring, then it's like something's literally.
Right. Yeah. You've got to do more of a rotation.
It's like preventing like your palm from traveling up to where it needs to be to keep all these lower strings quiet while you're like playing up here and then hopping right back. So that's why my hand is kind of like always in this shape.
Gotcha.
When I'm playing lead stuff.
Yeah, because that's another thing people forget. It's Paul Gilbert actually said this to me. He said it's the string you're playing is your friend. The other five, or in some cases,
you shouldn't be able to hear them at all. Yeah,
they're your enemy. So you got to keep them quiet.
Yep.
What would your advice be with regards to that, apart from using your darned ears?
For me, it's all palm for the lower ones,
right.
And then but say like when you're down here, if you're playing here, obviously you can't be like or anything like that. So
unless you're Marty Friedman. Maybe.
Yeah, some guys I watch them play and I don't know how it sounds like that, but it's working.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys where I watch him play and was like, I can't play guitar like that, but he sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's like you watch. It's just like, oh, but he's like not even muting anything, and you still can't hear it.
I know. It's
wild. There's like some magic going on.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Yeah, same with Zach Wild too. Like he's like going ham.
Brutal.
Yeah, and like going like picking like that. I'm like, I can't play guitar like that, but sounds fine when he does it.
So the higher strings are
the left hand. Yeah.
Yeah, just the fleshy palm.
Yep. Yeah, keeping your thumb down makes it a lot easier.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why my guitar is John Lennon status, almost in my face when I'm playing live.
Right.
Yeah, because if it's down here, then it's like, then your hand just kind of gets stuck like this.
Yeah, it looks cool, but you can't control the strings.
Because it's like there's this tunnel that kind of happens, and then the upper strings ring out. So if your guitar is higher, it's easier to keep your thumb more in the center of the back of the neck, which allows you to keep your left hand flush on the upper strings, actually keeping them quiet. Practicing around 5th, 7th, and 12th fret is good too.
Gotcha.
Because natural harmonics. So you can dial in like the pressure a little bit better. Make sure it's actually staying quiet. You're not going to be like playing and then all of a sudden get like something like that.
Gotcha. Perfect. You use your little finger, not just, I was watching you earlier, you bend with your little finger. Is that something you've always done? I watched it.
You mean my pinky?
Yeah.
Was I?
On the Divine playthrough you do, yeah. You do a bend with your pinky. Unless
at the very, very top. Actually, if you look closer, it's like all of my fingers.
Yeah.
My pinky's just the one fretting.
Right.
Yeah, and
you're supporting the reinforced bending, I guess.
So that's probably just, I didn't even think about that. It's just the anatomy of how that run works.
Gotcha.
So, and then I try to always do that, like support my bends or vibratos with other fingers behind. I mean, sometimes I'll use my first finger to get like a really wide one, but it just depends on the part, like what's coming before or what's coming after.
And your vibrato, I was going to touch on your vibrato as well, is who influenced you with regards to vibrato? Because yours is very soulful.
Not to knock anyone, but like, it always bums me out when like someone's just like shredding like crazy and it's so clean, and then they go to do a bend or a vibrato, and it's just like a quarter tone out, or
Right.
it's just like automatic. It's like, oh, I can see what you spent the most time on.
Right,
And it's
right,
like,
right.
I'd rather hear someone like, personally for me, like bend in tune and have like a really good vibrato than just to be able to just nonstop shred. You gotta have both. Like, and one thing that my old teacher said, Matt, was like, vibrato kind of develops more as you do as a player, like over time. Like, you can obviously practice it.
Right.
Like, you need to practice it, but like the more that you keep playing just over time, progressively throughout your journey, your vibrato will just keep improving.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and develop into like your own like kind of like sound for it. Sometimes too, like I'll establish the note like beforehand, kind of like the Divine does that, where it's like beginning of the solo. Like, did you hear how like that one, like just bend it up, it was like stagnant, just hung on the note, and then I didn't do like the wide vibrato until. So like you hear the note beforehand and then goes into like the big wide vibrato to kind of like establish like the actual like what note you're supposed to be hearing and not just a big wide kind of sound.
Yeah, and to me that makes it musical, and you do that really well, once again being obsequious. The other guy I know who does it really well is, and also with the accuracy of the slides, is that Yngwie Malmsteen character. His vibrato is insane.
The scallop frets help a lot with that.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. And the thing I really like about your playing too is that you'll go from very heavy, then you'll go into some really cool sort of relatively high chords, like chord voicings, like in the chorus of Divine, for example.
For sure.
What influences on? Do you ever listen to Killswitch?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, funny enough, I hadn't used drop C in forever until I wrote these the two newest All That Remains songs that came out first, Divine and Let You Go. So when Alexi Laiho is another like big influence for me. Yeah, like huge influence for me. If I had to pick like two players, it would be Petrucci and Laiho. Those are like my two biggest influences growing up.
Now, what did you get from Alexi? Because he's a very different player to John.
Oh, very different. Actually, at the time when I was still in high school, middle school, learning how to play guitar, I was obsessed with like the keyboard and guitar duel.
Right.
And like those were, so Dream Theater and Children of Bodom were like the only two I found like right away that had that like in every song.
Right.
So when Alexi passed away, I ordered one of his ESPs just as like a tribute kind of thing. I wanted to have it on my wall. When I got the guitar, I went down a rabbit hole of like relearning just a bunch of Bodom songs, and most of them are in drop C and stuff like that. So I hadn't touched it in a while, so I was just feeling like super inspired. So after I relearned a bunch of stuff off Are You Dead Yet, I like found an old tab book on eBay, bought it. It's not completely accurate, but it's close enough to where I can figure it all out. I just kind of kept that train going, and then Divine was the first thing I wrote after getting that guitar and relearning a bunch of Bodom stuff.
I'm really glad you said that, because one of the things that I really like about your playing is that you're capable of this very like athletic speed stuff, but there's always melody there. You always go back to melodies.
Yep.
And that was one thing Alexi, may he rest in peace, was always good at. He'd grab you with a melody. What a concept. Not just shred.
Yeah, he had both.
Shredzilla.
For sure.
He was a Shredzilla.
Yep.
So talking of tabs, in case you're wondering why I'm not having this guy show me how to play Divine, he has his own website. I just downloaded this today, and this is not someone else's interpretation of how to play Divine. It's this man. Every single note on this tab is how he played it. So
straight from the source.
Tell us a little bit about your channel and how people can learn to do the impossibly insane stuff you do, or at least try.
Well, most of that's on you because you have to practice. But if you do want to learn from me how to play all of Divine front to back, but on my YouTube channel, I launched a membership. And the first thing I did was the full instructional on how to play all of Divine, front to back.
Yep, and I can give that an endorsement because I bought it today. I can't play the darn thing, but at least I know how to do it. Yeah, not yet. Thank you for that vote of confidence. The $20 is in the mail. So pay heed. Watch the playthrough he does on YouTube. Then click the link and learn from the man himself, not someone else's interpretation of what this guy is doing, but from himself.
And the video also has tabs too on the membership.
It's got tabs on the bottom. Here.
Yeah.
So Jason, thank you, my friend, and I hate you.
I hate you too.
There you have it. See you.